attempting to pass without mine blessing?
Who are you?
Who am I? I am Faith Saley, Archmistress of Innovation, first of my name, host of the ACC InVenture Prize, Queen of the North Carolina State University Plaza area, right around here. Tell me, travelers, which house do you serve?
We're from NC State.
House of the Wolf Pack?
The Wolf Pack! Please, my brothers, welcome. And which sigil do you bear?
Well, we come from Wake Forest.
House of the Demon Deacons.
How whimsically blasphemous! You as well may pass. Oh, okay, this line's backing up. All right, let's get this moving. Roll call, double time.
Pittsburgh Panthers?
Yeah, seems fine.
Hail the Pit. Virginia Tech Hokies!
Yeah, I've never known what that is. Next.
Boston College Eagles.
Fly away.
University of Louisville.
Go Cards!
You're next to the Eagles.
University of North Carolina. Go Heels!
Yeah, just go. Huh, my work here is done. Let the 2019 ACC InVenture Prize begin. F. Oh, okay, it's getting late. I gotta start the show. Guys, little help here. I'm high up. Sit, Bartholomew. Good wolf. Sit, please. Help.
Live from the campus of North Carolina State University, it's the 2019 ACC InVenture Prize. Join us as a new class of innovators from across the Atlantic Coast Conference competes for $30,000 in prizes. Now, please welcome your host, Emmy Award winner, Faith Saley.
Welcome to the 2019 ACC InVenture Prize. This is the 4th annual ACC competition, which makes us seniors. I don't know about you, but after 4 years on this stage, I can't help but get a little choked up when I think back on all the memories. Like this beautiful theater, which seems a bit different than last year, if I'm being honest. Or what about those wolf statues from a moment ago? Who can forget that time? Oh no, wait, I think I'm thinking about Twilight. Oh, yeah, that's right. We're coming to you live this year from NC State University, and we are so happy to be on this beautiful campus. We have an incredible show coming up. Tonight, the most innovative young minds from around the Atlantic Coast Conference will showcase their innovative products and businesses in hopes of leaving the stage with at least one of our fantastic prizes. What are those illustrious awards, you ask? I have just the person to answer that, my exuberant co-host, Ashley Mengwasser.
Oh, thanks, Faith. I'm definitely your girl. It's great to be here at NC State, our wonderful host for this year's ACC InVenture Prize. Tonight, I'll be speaking with the college representatives joining our finalists after they present their inventions. So let's talk about the prizes for which those teams are inventing. We'll be doling out 3 prizes this evening: first place, second place, and our People's Choice Award. Tonight's first place winner will earn $15,000. That goes a long way when you're trying to bring an idea to market. And the team who wins second place will leave with a check for $10,000. That's no small potatoes either. The first and second place prizes are awarded by our expert panel of judges. You'll meet them momentarily. However, tonight's remaining prize is up to you, our audience. That's right. If you're watching us live, then pay close attention to tonight's teams, because you could send one of them home with the highly coveted People's Choice Award, worth 5,000 big ones. After all our finalists have presented, we'll open up the voting, and at that point, you can vote for your favorite team by texting their keyword to 770-637-3005. If you don't have your mobile phone handy, doubtful, or if you're watching our live stream from outside of the continental United States, don't you worry. You can still vote by visiting accinventureprize.com/vote. I'll tell you each team's keyword after they present, and we'll remind you of all of the keywords once voting has officially opened. That will all happen later in the show, so stay with me. But for now, I'll send it back to you, Faith.
As Ashley mentioned, an expert panel of judges will award tonight's top prizes, and thanks to a little TV magic, here they are. Let's learn a little bit more about them, shall we? Our first judge is a retail and wholesale expert with more than 30 years of experience driving business and employee engagement for companies such as Gap North America and Hudson Jeans. Today, she serves as the CEO of Undercover Colors, a revolutionary diagnostic technology startup based in North Carolina. Please welcome Barbara Cook. Next is a judge who embodies the InVenture Prize spirit, formerly the Executive Director of Innovation Business Development for United Technologies. He now lends his operational leadership expertise as the Executive Director of Strategic Initiatives for Collins Aerospace. Let's hear it for Jim Fritz. Our final judge has grown her career through a deep passion for fostering entrepreneurship. With more than 15 years of senior leadership experience, she last served as the president of Umicore USA before taking on her current role as president and CEO of the Council for Entrepreneurial Development. Please help me welcome Ravila Gupta. It's important to note that none of tonight's adjudicators holds any affiliations with ACC schools, hence their ability to remain perfectly objective. Thank you all for lending your expertise tonight. And let's get to it. Now that we've caught up with our judges, let's put them to work. Our first team of the evening is from the University of Notre Dame. It's Team DeLive.
Hi, we're Team DeLive, and we've reimagined emergency medicine like never before. Every day, thousands of people around the world die from emergency medical situations. Cardiac arrest, drug overdoses, and anaphylactic shock. These are common life-threatening situations that can strike in the blink of an eye.
Fire departments across the country aspire to respond to the calls within 6 minutes, but this number is often prolonged by understaffed and overworked departments. We at DeLive asked ourselves, what could we do to cut response time in half?
Okay, I'm intrigued and want to hear more. Take it away, Team DeLive.
Good evening. I'm Zach Cousins.
And I'm Nathaniel Hansen.
We're here from Notre Dame to talk to you about DeLive, your EMT in the sky. What you're looking at is the survival rates for cardiac arrest over the time that it takes for the victim to get a defibrillator. The green dot represents the target EMS response time in the United States. The yellow dot represents the average response time in urban areas, and the red dot represents the average response time in suburban and rural areas. What DeLive aims to do is use drone technology to get a defibrillator to the victim within this critical 2 to 3 minute time window. Let's see how it works.
Using our web interface, 911 dispatchers can log into our system and pull up an aerial view of the location. They can then select an appropriate payload for the drone to carry and then task the drone. Within 15 seconds, the drone is airborne and can fly a direct line to the scene of the incident at 60 miles per hour. Once on the scene of the incident, the dispatcher can choose to release the payload via our patent-pending release mechanism safely to the hands of a waiting bystander. And so that's our really cool product. We hope you enjoyed that very short demo. But now let's talk about the actual product, which you see before you right now. So we use a custom octocopter and patent-pending LTE communication technology, along with a payload release mechanism, a scalable, safe, and secure back-end architecture system, and sense and avoid technologies to satisfy FAA regulatory requirements.
So speaking of the FAA, you might be wondering why big tech companies aren't delivering you packages right now. And it's because the current state of commercial drone operations exists only within visual line of sight. In order to go beyond visual line of sight, you have to have what's called a special governmental interest, which requires some sort of compelling humanitarian need, such as ours. You also need a government partner, which we've just come to an agreement with the City of South Bend to implement our system for a $75,000 annual contract. Scaled up to the 21,000 emergency departments nationwide, that comes out to a $1.5 billion total addressable market. We would deploy our system to respond to 3 cardiac arrests per day in the city of South Bend and save 300 lives per year who would have otherwise never made it to the hospital.
But this problem isn't just limited to South Bend, Indiana. It's nationwide. Every year, there are over 350,000 cardiac arrests. If we can increase the survival rate by 30%, that's over 100,000 people who don't have to die every year. This is our lofty goal. This is life-saving technology delivered. Thank you very much.
Well done, Deliv. Okay, judges, let's deliver it up. Jim, do you want to take the first question?
Sure, thank you, Faith. So nice job, guys. I'm just curious question. So there are a lot of people that are out there looking at kind of the small drone delivery market, everybody from Amazon and Boeing and Airbus all the way to Domino's Pizza. And obviously you guys have a kind of a humanitarian put here, but I was kind of curious, how do you differentiate your product against all the other people that are trying to get into this similar space?
Absolutely. So one of the things that we've really pride ourselves on is we've innovated a lot with a brokerized LTE communication system, which really revolutionizes and lets drones fly further and faster than ever before. Also, just kind of as we mentioned, working within that niche of humanitarian delivery of medical supplies, we're able to skip a whole lot of regulatory roadblocks that Amazon, Google, other big tech companies would normally run into as they try to commercialize pizza delivery.
Barbara?
Yeah, I'm just curious on a practical level. I think I heard you say the parcel got delivered to a bystander, could pick it up in remarkably quick time. How does that work with the patient lying on the ground? Who is that bystander? Who are you delivering to, and how are they going to react?
So this AED that we're delivering is designed to be used by an everyday person. All the bystander has to do is open it up and apply the pads to the patient's chest. The AED itself will do everything else. It'll detect their heart rate, determine if they've had a cardiac arrest, and administer a shock as appropriate. That bystander will also be on the line with a 911 operator who can walk them through that process and put them at ease.
And then also to your question, we do make a bit of an assumption with this that if you're having a cardiac arrest, you're probably not going to be the one calling 911. Right. There will be someone on the scene, so even a layperson can operate this technology.
Yikes. Excellent. Okay,
we've got 1 minute, Ravila.
Yeah, sure. Talk to me about insurance requirements. Have you looked into the risks associated with delivering this type of medical equipment to somebody that's in need of it and the insurance piece of it?
We have. So most of what we are doing is protected under Good Samaritan laws, working with the emergency departments. There are some aspects when it comes to aviation and that liability that come into play, but a lot of our safety systems, our sense and avoid technology, our communication platforms are what the FAA is really looking for to prove that our system is safe and reliable in that regards.
We've got about 20 seconds left for another question.
Sure. So I'm just curious, why did you guys have to develop, because I believe you developed your own platform, correct?
So we use an off-the-shelf frame, but we've developed all the electronics ourselves to kind of custom suit this mission set.
Interesting.
Fantastic. I just have one quick question. If my blood sugar gets low, can it deliver cheesecake stat?
No, or I guess it could, but we've also looked into pivoting into like insulin and Narcan. There's a whole host of other really quick medical technologies that can save lives. If we can carry a defibrillator, we can carry an injector.
Excellent. Now let's go to Ashley, who's standing by with a surprise guest. Ashley?
Faith, I like to think of Deliv as the EMS of the sky, EMS. And just like the invention, my first interviewee is coming in hot. Meet Patty Reinhardt. She's the Student Entrepreneurship Program Manager for Notre Dame. Hey, Patty. So I understand the team has gotten some interesting suggestions for future applications of their airborne service. What are some of those?
So they get asked that a lot, and so they're asked if the Deliv could walk their dog or deliver them Starbucks and for their morning commute. They even had a fire chief ask them about when Deliv was going to be big enough to transport actual patients to help save people from burning buildings and such.
Live human beings.
That's right.
Putting the storks out of business. Or is that not where babies come from? We could talk about that later. It's probably best for everybody that some of those ideas don't take flight. But if you think our first team really delivered, text keyword drone once all teams have presented. Back to you, Faith.
All right, let's keep things moving with tonight's second team from Georgia Tech. It's Team Ethos Medical.
We're Ethos Medical, and we're representing Georgia Tech. Every single year in the United States, 15 million procedures that involve inserting a needle into the spine are performed.
The current standard of practice to identify where to put the needle is to just feel for landmarks on the patient's back, and this can be very difficult.
After conducting hundreds of interviews with physicians who perform lumbar punctures, epidurals, and other spinal access procedures, we were able to identify exactly what the problems were and design a solution that would perfectly address them.
Okay, Ethos, you know the procedure. You may begin your presentation.
This is a spinal needle. It's a 4-inch needle that's inserted into the center of the spine during a procedure called a lumbar puncture, which is used to diagnose and treat conditions like meningitis and cancer. To perform a lumbar puncture, physicians have to navigate this needle through an opening as small as a millimeter between vertebrae. Now, the scary part, that wasn't it, is that these procedures are initially conducted without image guidance, so they can't see where this needle is going. This makes the procedure extremely difficult, which is why 20% of lumbar punctures can't be successfully completed. In these cases, patients are sent to the radiology department for yet another lumbar puncture, this time under X-ray guidance. And this whole process extends patients' hospital stays and costs hospitals over $3,000 in non-reimbursable expenses per case. We've developed a needle guidance system that interfaces with existing ultrasound machines and allows practitioners to do these procedures without relying on radiology. To set it up, snap the bracket onto the probe and insert the needle into the guide. Turn on our guidance overlay, which will then display intuitive renderings of the spine to help align the probe on the patient's back. The trajectory of the needle will be overlaid on this image and will turn green to indicate when the needle has a clear path. At this point, the needle guide can be locked in place and the needle can be inserted with confidence. Now, the concept of real-time guidance isn't new, but existing devices aren't used today for two main reasons. They require practitioners to have expertise in understanding and interpreting ultrasound images, and they're bulky and difficult to access when and where they're needed. Our system is interpretable by anyone and is built for these pocket-sized devices. Although we're focusing on lumbar punctures as our entry strategy, the problems associated with blind needle navigation exist in many other procedures, such as the labor and delivery epidural. And these procedures are collectively performed 26 million times per year. Given a $120 disposable device price, that equates to a $3.2 billion total addressable market in the United States alone. We started this journey about 7 months ago while going through Georgia Tech's CreateX Startup Accelerator, and we've been working full-time on this ever since. In that time, we've spoken to countless physicians who've been more than excited to offer their support. One of them, a renowned Emory radiologist and health policy expert, is now on our clinical advisory board. We need the InVenture Prize to fund the bench and animal testing to get through the FDA and on the market so that we can solve a true pain in the back.
Well done, Ethos Medical. Judges, Barbara, do you want to take it away?
Wow, America's Got Talent, right? It's great. I want to hear the human story. How, I understand where you did it, but why? What made the three of you focus on that? I've been at the other end of that needle, so I would love to know.
Right, so everybody knows somebody who's been touched by some part of this procedure, most commonly the epidural that's given during labor and delivery. For me, it was my mother, who has had problems with back pain ever since she got an epidural with my older brother. And this is not at all an exclusive story, and it touches many different people around the world. So we thought this was an interesting problem, and we looked into it, and more than just the human story, we see that there's a viable business opportunity. So this gives us an amazing chance to affect the lives of many people around the world.
Great, thank you.
Ravila?
Do you see any issues with physician adoption of this new technique at all?
Actually, there's a good amount of physician financial incentive that Cassie can talk about.
Right. So physicians first and foremost care about the well-being of their patients. More than that, the use of our system is covered by the CPT reimbursement code 76942. Which reimburses $33 for the professional component and $28 for the technical component. So in essence, this means by using our system and charging the CPT code, physicians provide a better standard of care for patients, and they get paid 40% more.
Do you think you'll be able to use that technology for other medical, because it's so pinpoint accurate?
Yeah.
I'm thinking when people are trying to inject or find cancers or whatever, does it have other applications?
Yeah, so one of the things that's really nice about this, the solution we've created and the problem we're addressing is that it's not specific to lumbar punctures or even just epidurals. I mean, spinal access procedures is a really nice entry point for us because there's a lot of procedures within that, like the ones I just mentioned, but outside of that, we've been also looking at central lines, things like paracentesis, thoracentesis as well, and are still talking to physicians to learn more about other procedures like that.
Great, thank you.
Jim?
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious. Relative to FDA approval, what's the approval process look like? How long do you expect till you would have this on the market?
Sure. So we're anticipating right now about 17 months before we can get on the market. So we have a pathway laid out that's about 8 months of completing R&D, specifically the software side of things. And then
R&D means research and
development. And then after that, bench and preclinical animal testing. So we've set up a collaboration with a local testing facility near Georgia Tech to do that. And then once that process is over, we can start preparing for our 510(k) submission and then submitting that to the FDA, which is about another 9 months after that.
And that's your time. I just have a quick question. Now that you've made giving birth a little easier, can you guys just invent like a strap-on uterus for dudes? You can call it a duderus. Take it, run with it. It's yours. Thank you, judges. I like how you operate. Ashley, whom do you have standing by for Ethos Medical?
For our viewers who first saw Ethos Medical in the Georgia Tech InVenture Prize, they're back. Faith, can you believe these guys get on people's nerves for a living? I'm jealous, honestly. Representing Ethos Medical is Dr. Chris Reeves, Director of Undergraduate Research and Student Innovation at Georgia Tech. Chris, is it true that the data gathering process for Team Ethos Medical was a walk in the park?
That's very true, Ashley. So very early on in the process, the students wanted to find out from some of the patients who had these pains when it comes to needle spinal procedures. And so they decided to go to Atlanta's Piedmont Park, which is kind of odd, I know, but it gets worse. While they were at the park, there was a concert going on, and there were over 1,000 people in the park. And so what they started doing is walking amongst the crowd on the lawn and asking moms, do you remember when you had your baby? And so obviously they were a little standoffish at first, but they ended up talking to them a lot, and they got a lot of feedback, and no, the concert was not Spinal Tap.
Thank you for that, Chris. So I learned two things. Moms gladly discuss their epidurals at concerts, and second, this team takes field research very literally. If Ethos Medical is your pick for People's Choice, you can make the sharpest point by texting Ethos. I'll tell you when. Back to you, Faith.
Thanks, Ashley. Tonight's 5 finalists overcame countless hurdles to earn their place on our stage. The journey they took began back at their schools and sometimes even earlier. To learn a little more about the path that led them to tonight's final round, let's take a little trip down the road to the ACC InVenture Prize.
The road to the 2019 ACC InVenture Prize began months ago as student entrepreneurs across the Atlantic Coast Conference conceived, created, and unveiled their ventures. From those thousands of students, each school crowned a champion to represent them in the 4th annual ACC InVenture Prize, hosted for the first time by North Carolina State University. After arriving in Raleigh, there was no time to waste. Teams stepped off their planes and directly into the competition's preliminary round.
My name is Emily, and Team Trek is on a mission to change the way that people clean their teeth.
At Road Halo, we provide cyclists with the opportunities to confidently and safely ride the roads.
We are FIDA, an initiative that is growing seaweed for a sustainable future.
That's where students face their most difficult hurdle yet. A panel of ACC judges with a series of challenging questions.
How do you plan to break into other markets?
What is your growth strategy?
How do you scale?
From that grueling preliminary round, 5 finalists emerged.
Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, Florida State, Syracuse, the University of Virginia.
Tonight, those 5 teams compete for bragging rights and cash prizes, but only one can be crowned the best in the Atlantic Coast Conference. The road ends on our stage tonight, leaving just one question to be answered. Who will win the 2019 ACC InVenture Prize?
Please give a big round of applause for our 2019 ACC InVenture Prize semifinalists. Okay, now that you can appreciate what it's taken for all of our teams to get here, let's meet our next finalists from Florida State University InnoHealth Diagnostics.
We're Team InnoHealth, and we're in the business of empowering communities to eliminate infectious diseases.
Neglected tropical diseases, or NTDs, are infectious diseases that wreak havoc on tropical areas of the world. One called schistosomiasis affects 1.1 billion people worldwide, resulting in more than 200,000 deaths.
This is where we come in. We are using innovative tools to put the power of diagnosis in the hands of the communities who need it the most.
Okay, that was very informative. InnoHealth Diagnostics, take it away.
We are InnoHealth, and we are in the business of empowering communities to eliminate infectious diseases, starting with schistosomiasis in our country, Nigeria. Schistosomiasis, or schisto for short, is a parasitic disease that causes malnutrition and organ damage. Worldwide, over 260 million people are infected, and in Nigeria, over 30 million. And 80% of those infected are children. Let me introduce you to Bello. He's a 5-year-old boy in Nigeria. When Bello comes in contact with contaminated water, he's exposed to schisto. And once infected, he experiences a fever, he becomes unusually tired, and if these symptoms aren't treated early, then they can progress, unfortunately, to Bello's death. We at InnoHealth have a solution. Once Bello's mom notices the symptoms, she'll go to a local clinic where she can pick up the InnoHealth chip. This chip will be able to accurately detect the disease early, when treatment can be provided at a lower dose, giving Bello an excellent chance of being cured. So how does this work? Well, once Bello's urine is transferred into the chip, the worm's DNA can be detected within the urine, targeting genomic sequences specific to schisto. Our chip will make additional copies of this DNA sequences, and combined with a dye, be able to see a positive result with the naked eye. Our chip is highly sensitive, low cost, provides fast results, and can be used in a competent manner for the culture of its users. The current standard of care has lower sensitivity, missing many infections, and laboratory methods are too expensive to deploy at scale. In Nigeria, we have a serviceable addressable market of 131 million people either affected or at risk. In Kano State, our pilot market, there are 4.7 million people either affected or at risk. In the first 3 years, we plan to target 0.1% of Kano's market, where we've estimated a potential revenue stream of $934,000 in year 2 and 3. This summer, we partnered with eHealth Africa to conduct field tests in Nigeria where we'll distribute 250 chips. Through our customer validation phase, gather data so we can analyze and iterate on the prototype. We plan to do this 2 more times throughout the year with the goal of producing a minimal viable product. And we believe $79,000 can get us that MVP we can submit for government certification. And so far, we've raised $20,000. We're so excited to see how early detection can empower communities and improve lives of millions of people. So please join us in helping communities empower themselves to eliminate infectious diseases. Thank you.
Well presented, InnoHealth. Ravila, do you want to take the first question?
Sure. I'm curious, you're looking at neglected tropical diseases, and you chose schisto to start with. Have you considered looking at other diseases? And I'd like to hear more about that.
That's a great question. So schistosomiasis is a parasitic disease, and its sister parasitic disease is soil-transmitted helminth infection, which affects over 1 billion people worldwide. It's usually paired up together in MDA programs, which not-for-profits administer treatments in a mass scale. And so they like to pair up parasitic diseases. And we're currently working on designs to expand the device to detect multiple diseases instead of just schisto. That's our flagship disease.
To add on to that, there are 12 neglected tropical diseases, and so we plan to attack all of them eventually when we scale all around the world.
12 neglected tropical diseases? Yes, is that what you
neglected because tropical diseases usually focus on malaria, and there's 12 others that are very prevalent that people historically haven't been focused on.
Barbara?
And because they are neglected, we don't know about them. I'd never heard of snail fever. I mean, so because of that, and because it's not kind of a talked about topic per se, which is clearly why you're doing what you're doing, where do you expect the funding to come from? Who is going to give you the money that you need?
That's also a great question. So our initial distribution channels are not-for-profits. Certain not-for-profits like the Carter Center, we're currently in conversations with, have targeted guinea worm, trachoma. They also have a schisto program and an STH program. And Gates Foundation has donated $2.2 billion for the next 5 years to eliminate 5 neglected tropical diseases, schisto being one of them, STH being another, as well as FindDX, which partners with companies like us that put innovative technologies into poverty-related diseases.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier, and we figured Gates might be
Gates is
a
huge.
contender for this.
It's huge, to do a lot of research projects with this, yes.
Jim, we have a minute.
Yeah, sure. I'm kind of curious, can you talk more about the business model? I mean, who are you actually selling to, and what's the supply chain look like? How do you actually make money at this?
So, like I said, the initial distribution would be not-for-profit, so giving them during their mass administration programs. They usually do it biannually, and there's 3 phases where they have a monitoring. They identify hotspots so they can do this treatment, diagnosis, and then surveillance. So the cool thing about our device is it can go all 3 ways. It can be a screening product, it's a diagnostic product, and it can be used for surveillance with a data component in it.
To add on to that, we also aim to eventually have it as an at-home device, so the end user will be able to eventually use it at their own home in their own convenience.
We've got about 15 seconds left. Do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, just a quick follow-up. So you talked before about expanding it to the other NTDs. How much of a change is that? Is it a pretty simple, straightforward change, or is it a pretty significant alteration?
It requires, yes, it's a pretty simple one because it requires to have the right primers, fluoridates, and reagents to break open the eggs. So it's just, since we're doing parasitic diseases.
And I have to cut you off there. I'm so sorry. I have to be fair to all the teams, but that concludes the InnoHealth Diagnostics examination. Thank you. Now let's go to Ashley for our follow-up. Ashley, with whom are you standing?
Faith, Team InnoHealth features the only women to take the stage tonight, and their collective girl power is a thing to be admired. I'm joined by Dr. Emily Pritchard, research faculty at FSU's College of Medicine. Emily, tell us why these two brilliant women have more in common than meets the eye.
Well, Angela and Nkechi take Great Minds Think Alike to a whole nother level. We're very excited to have them here. They both share Nigerian heritage and a passion for bringing preventable tropical diseases to ease suffering in Nigeria. They also like to do power poses before their pitches, and they both share a birthday, September 26th.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe they have the same birthday. Now, research is divided on the power pose, but I think it works. But if all you have to do is put your hands on your hips, why didn't women get credit for inventing this centuries ago? We've been doing that for forever. If you think this team should take home People's Choice for the health of it, text keyword INNO, that's 2 N's, when voting reopens. Back to you, Faith.
Thanks, Ashley. Thanks, Ashley. Only 2 teams left to go. Let's meet our 4th team from Syracuse University. It's Team Medics.
Every day, patients receive infusion treatments for hours on end, tethered to this constant reminder of their sickness being their IV pole. This leaves them feeling restricted and deprived of better treatment.
Patients should feel satisfied with their treatment, not immobilized by it. There's yet to be a product that allows the patient to feel empowered rather than confined by their sickness.
Our company, Medix, has addressed all of these problems and more with our product Live, the liberating intravenous.
Okay, Team Medics, it's time to infuse us with your knowledge. Take it away.
Hi everyone, my name is Quinn King.
And I'm Alec Gillender.
And we are Senior Industrial Interaction Design students at Syracuse University.
And we're the founders of Medix,
creating innovative medical products through user-centered design. When I was 15, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. And what stood out to me the most was that she couldn't be her usual active self anymore. Every time that she wanted to go outside, go up a staircase, or even go to the bathroom, she had to be tethered constantly to this reminder of her sickness being her IV pole. Luckily, this is us years later, and she couldn't be more proud that we're on the path to bringing our solution to the world.
And she's not alone. 1 in 5 people have an autoimmune disease that can only be treated through either injection or by infusion. This is why infusion centers are one of the fastest growing markets, and home infusion therapy is currently at $13 billion. We've found a way that you can take your IV bag and put it directly onto your body so you can move around hands-free using only 2 simple straps. It can deliver any flow rate using either pressure infusion methods or gravity-fed methods. This allows us to not need the use for both batteries or motors in order for our product to be used properly.
We are currently exploring 2 paths to market, which is seeking a licensing agreement through our patent or by partnering with another company. The first market that we're going to establish our presence in is the infusion industry, and in time we're going to go to acute and patient care, emergency response, and then the military.
Our mission to bring mobility and freedom back to the patient hasn't come without expenses. In fact, some of our largest startup costs, including usability testing and beta prototyping, are right around the corner. We know what our cost structures are, and we know what the next big steps are going to be.
We've gained significant traction, and we have customers already lining up to buy our product. We've established a group of advisors that have helped us in nearly every category. We have 2 provisional patents, we've gained some seed funding, and we're currently working with our FDA consultants, manufacturers, and strategic partners to bring our product to market.
We're currently filing our non-provisional patent at this moment and beta prototyping. Next, we're going to start usability testing with a leading design firm and start piloting our product at a large infusion center. Then, by 2021, we're going to have a licensing agreement with either a dealer or distributor of an OEM, whom we've already started talking to. And then by 2022, we're going to launch and scale.
Who's benefiting from this? To put it simply, everyone using an IV system. Whether it's injured soldiers or disaster victims that need that life-saving amount of IV fluid, or if it's an at-home palliative care situation or in a hospital, where someone simply doesn't want to be tethered to this constant reminder of their sickness.
The world is in need of a better portable IV system.
Together, we can better the lives of the millions of patients that receive infusion treatments every single day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done, medics. A clever innovation and a wearable flask. Well done. Reveal it. Do you want to take the first question?
Sure. What's the incentive for insurance companies to get on board with this?
Right, so we're a Class 1 medical device, so that means that we don't need pre-market approval. And we're actually currently talking to our advisor, who's an infusion center owner, about insurance that right now.
Yeah.
And you talked about customers. You said, you know, we've got customers. Who do you see as your customer?
So we think we are really applicable in home infusion, but down the line, I feel like we're going to help a lot in emergency situations, because instead of having to bring someone to an ambulance or a health tent in disaster situations, you can now bring our products right out there in the field and give it to them right there. In fact, you can fit 15 of our product in the same space that you can fit one intravenous backpack.
I was curious, what does the competitive space look like? Are there other people that are trying to come up with similar type of approaches?
Right, so there's the typical IV pole, of course. And then the only one that's very close to us that's a mobile device would be the IV backpack, which is motorized, big, and luggy, which is difficult for many people. But yeah, ours is pressure and just shoulder mounted.
Ours is able to give the exact same flow rate without the use of electronics.
So you can adapt that to use in any kind of liquid type infusion.
Works with all existing IV products out there in the market today.
Blood too.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. How did you, I mean, obviously you had your personal history, but how did you get to that design as the solution?
I would contribute that to our background. We're both product designers, so luckily he took a sewing class right before we started making it.
Right, yeah. Now this is our 5th iteration, so it's definitely gone through a couple.
What was the biggest challenge? Why did it take 5 iterations?
I think that's just necessary in product development, and you got to keep changing little things. So even if there's a little thing wrong with it, you got to do the next round for our product.
And I suspect it will continue.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's
We
great.
have about 30 seconds left. Does anyone have a
What would you use the money for?
So currently we're trying to get some usability testing firms so we can make sure our product is perfect for all of our users before we start piloting at infusion centers around us in Europe.
Right, and then beta prototyping, of course, and then manufacturing would also be a huge cost for us. That would go straight to, of course.
And I saw the OEM was up there. What does OEM stand for?
Right, so it's the manufacturer. So we'd want to partner with a manufacturer.
It's the original manufacturer.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think that's it. Yeah. Well done, Team Medics. Thank you
Great.
very
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you,
Thank you
judges.
so much.
Now let's send things back over to Ashley and learn a little bit more about how Team Medics got here. Ashley?
For the purpose of this next interview, the letters IV will not refer to the Roman numeral 4. I'm joined by Linda Dickerson Hartsock, Executive Director of the Blackstone Launchpad at Syracuse University. Linda, it's clear what this innovation means for medicine, but tell me more about the personal significance for individuals.
Oh my goodness. So when this team says liberating IV, they mean that literally. For infusion patients, this is a game changer. For anyone who's ever had infusion or chemo, you know how frustrating it is to be attached to an IV pole. With this invention, you can walk around your home, your office, your hospital room, your treatment center. You can go outside, up and down stairs, garden, cook, do what you love. Be active, travel. It allows you and people you love to live life liberated.
I love that. That's fantastic. You know, you can't spell invention without I and V, and you can't spell participants without pants. That's why we've asked our finalists to wear them tonight, Linda. To help Team Medics live it up, vote MEDIX, MEDUX, once all teams have presented. Back to you, Faith.
All right, now it's time for our post-penultimate team of the evening. Yeah, that's right. I just invented a word for our final presenters. The spirit of innovation must be infectious. From the University of Virginia, it's Team MIST.
Hi, we're Team MIST, and we've developed a system for improving the treatment of scoliosis.
Every year, 38,000 children have spinal fusion surgery for scoliosis. After this 6-hour-long invasive procedure, it takes a minimum of 12 months for them to recover. More than 50% of the time, the child has to get a second surgery due to complications. Physicians themselves have described spinal fusion surgery as barbaric and outdated.
With our novel image processing and spinal implant system, MIST is improving the future of scoliosis care with patient-centered design.
All right, don't blink or you'll miss it. Sorry. Let's hear from the University of Virginia.
So 2 years ago, my younger brother Sebastian received spinal fusion surgery for scoliosis. He's not alone. 38,000 children have this procedure each year with a cost of around $115,000. The procedure itself involves a 2-foot cut made down the back, screws placed into every vertebra, and large titanium rods put in to brace the spine into place. It's 6 hours long, has a 12-month recovery time, and a complication rate of over 50%. What's worse is that it's actually done at the end of adolescence when curvature is allowed to get to its worst point. We at MIST have developed 2 solutions to tackle the negative outcomes of spinal fusion. Our computer vision algorithm predicts scoliosis, allowing for an earlier, less invasive procedure. We've demonstrated an 85% success rate through a clinical study at UVA, which is 20% higher than anything else out on the market. Our patent-pending implant actually allows doctors, rather than doing a 2-foot cut, to use a 2-inch cut and use a single disc replacement implant to get comparable correction to spinal fusion surgery. In addition to in-lab research, we've vetted our value propositions through over 150 customer discovery interviews, as well as reading hundreds of scientific articles and patents. We've demonstrated that we have a lower complication rate, a lower recovery time, as well as better patient integration through our software. Even new innovations like growing magnetic rods or vertebral body tethering are more invasive because they require multiple procedures. Our dedicated team of biomedical engineers, as well as world-renowned neurosurgeons, are working with investors in places like DCVC, software engineers in places like Facebook, as well as biomedical engineers in places like K2M and PNS in order to finish our MVPs in 2 months' time. You can see a current prototype here of our implant, and Rohit's actually holding 2 of our titanium M plates. Our unique business model uses direct software sales to fund our FDA approval process, and we're currently partnering with medical device distribution companies like S1 Medical, as well as going to the largest biomedical engineering conference in the world and the 2nd largest spinal conference in the world to begin customer acquisition. We're optimized for the Lenke 5-6 classification of scoliosis, giving us a serviceable addressable market of $655 million. And in order to begin sales by 2020, we're looking for mentors with front-end development skills, as well as more health software investors to better understand the space. 38,000 children per year equates to 104 children per day that suffer spinal fusion surgery. So please help us bring our solutions to market in order to help the lives of patients just like my younger brother. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you, Team Medics. I wish we could spend our time asking about your adorable brother Sebastian, but Barbara, you have another question.
Yeah, I do. Is it a one and done thing? Having lived through the barbaric version, is this a one and done? You put it in and it's done? Or
Correct.
Does it
Yes.
has life?
You implant the implant into the spine, and it stays in the patient for life.
Right.
And do you have any data yet on how the materials age, how the insert ages over time?
Yes, our polymer is actually a grade 6 medical device, and there's already been data on it. However, the way we're implanting it is a novel way. So there's biocompatibility protocols in place for it, and it ages pretty well.
Can it be used for other things for adults, like any other spinal diseases?
That's a great question. So right now we're focusing on just the scoliosis market, but we can actually scale this up to degenerative disc disease and things like hyperkyphosis and hyperlordosis down the road.
That's great.
What's your time to market right now?
Yeah, so we're actually going to begin starting software sales next year. We're working with partners that we've already established in UVA, but our FDA regulatory pathway for the implant is about 10 years. And so our unique business model actually allows us to use those software sales to fund that FDA approval process with less than 5% of all the hospitals in the United States.
And then, so from what I've seen, this is a fairly unique solution out there. Are there other people that are coming up with similar approaches to this?
We're actually the first company to treat scoliosis from within the disc space. So we're actually pioneering the field, and surgeons are very excited about it. So, and as a result, we presented at so many conferences as well. just getting more support.
And does that bring additional risks, though, in that it's obviously a very new procedure?
However, the way that we're treating it is new. However, putting discs in the space has already been done with static discs. They've shown to be 79% less complication prone than actually outside with rods as well. Just we're a dynamic disc replacement rather than a static one that you've seen.
Could you explain dynamic versus static?
Oh, sure. So our device works by applying asymmetric forces in the spine. So when a spine's growing, actually, wherever it's curved too much, our device will apply a force to expand it. Where it's curved too less, it'll compress it. So the spine actually grows straight. Static discs are when you have discs that degrade and you have to put in a new disc replacement for this area. So ours actually treats scoliosis, whereas other ones treat spines that are already straight that have problems.
We got about 20 seconds.
What are the risks associated with the procedure?
Yeah, just any surgical procedure has risks with anesthesia, hospital stay, and of course with complications. However, our device, because it's minimally invasive with a 2-inch incision, mitigates these risks, and also because the recovery period is so much less, it's only 3 months compared to 12 months of spinal fusion.
And that's your time. That's your time. Thank you. And with that, all of tonight's questions have been answered, except for the one that's on everyone's mind: who won? So judges, that is your cue. Go, get deliberating, Godspeed. And while they do that, let's go one last time to the fan section and learn more about Team Mist. Ashley?
Faith, my final interviewee is also here to help set things straight. It's Alex Zaretta, Assistant Director for Technology Entrepreneurship at UVA. Alex has done UVA's interview on this show for the past several years, and I'm starting to think he's following me. Hello, mister. Thanks for dressing up. What takeaway message, right? What takeaway message would you like to tell everybody about who Team Mist is at their core?
In one word, legacy. More than any other team I've ever worked with in the past, this team has dedicated so much time beyond their invention. It's more than, their impact goes further than just invention. They've mentored and worked with so many younger students, and they're graduating this year, and I just don't.
Well, okay, clean it up, Alex. There's no crying in adventure. Don't go getting all misty-eyed on us. Was that good? No? Okay. Now that's our second spine. It's our second spine-related innovation this evening and our final team. So to vote for Team Mist to win the Battle of the Backs tonight, text keyword MIST, M-I-S-T. For more on that, it's back to you, Faith.
Thank you, Ashley. All of our teams have officially left the stage, and you know what that means. Tonight's People's Choice voting is officially open. I'm seeing everybody's heads look down at their phones. Pull out your cell phones, text your favorite team's keyword to the number 770-637-3005. You can also go online to accinventureprize.com/vote to cast your ballot. Remember, the People's Choice Award is worth $5,000, so please watch that autocorrect and type carefully. You only get one vote per device, no do-overs allowed. Here are those keywords again. To cast your vote for Team Deliv, the keyword is drone. To vote for Ethos Medical, the keyword is ethos. If you want Inno Health Diagnostics to win the People's Choice Award, text the keyword Inno, that's I-N-N-O. If your choice is Team Medics, the keyword to know is medics. And if you want to help Team Mist take home the People's Choice, their keyword is, wait for it, Mist. You only have a few minutes, so get those digits dialing. As you vote, it's important to know that the money and exposure earned at the ACC InVenture Prize are truly helping to make students' dreams a reality. For example, just last year, we saw Team InMed Bio of the University of Virginia take home the competition's first place prize. Recently, InMed Bio was selected as a recipient of the U.S.-India Science and Technology Endowment Fund, a prestigious non-equity grant worth nearly $300,000. In 2017, Team Agrospheres, also from UVA, in case you're keeping score at home, won the ACC InVenture Prize and has gone on to raise a $750,000 seed round, which has allowed them to outfit a new laboratory and begin field testing their crop protection products. So let's hear it for these teams and all of our former participants. Okay. While you're all voting, let's check in with Ashley backstage to see how our teams are holding up. Ash?
Oh, thanks, Faith. I'm backstage with our 7 semifinalist teams, and they're here to tell us exactly where they're from and what they invented. So listen up. Okay, who do we have here? Tell me who you're with, what you invented, and maybe we can support you online or something.
From Virginia Tech, we are Redshift Education. Redshift Education builds project-based lessons in virtual reality. So if you at home have a school system in your community that would love hands-on immersive lessons in their Spanish classes, you can reach us at redshifteducation.com.
Give this girl a microphone delivered right to the camera. Okay, real quick, what do you got?
We are FIDA from UNC Chapel Hill, and we've designed an innovative way to grow seaweed, providing both a sustainable ingredient for consumer products and a powerful strategy for marine conservation. If you want to learn more, check us out at fidaseaweed.com or our Instagram and Facebook at fidaseaweed.
Great, we got to speed it up a little bit here, guys. What do you have?
Hi, we're Decimi from Wake Forest University, and we are the first formaldehyde-free hypoallergenic shin guard padding that is also greener and overall more hygienic. Follow us on Instagram at Decimi, D-E-C-E-M-I-I for more information.
If they kick you in the shins, you might want that. Road Halo, I wear mine with me, so.
Oh, good. Well, we're Team Road Halo from the University of Louisville, and we made a smart headlight for cyclists that allows them to be more visibly seen and ride longer safer. You can follow us on Instagram at Road Halo Safety.
Got it. Okay, real quick, guys, 15 seconds.
Hi, we're from the University of Pittsburgh. We are Team Trek. We are making a biodegradable chewable that can clean your teeth on the go and eliminate one-use plastics. You can find us at trekgum.com or on Facebook.
Hi, I'm McKenna Polish from Bruce Foods, and we're a social enterprise that rescues food waste and redistributes it through subscription model through Boston community.
Bruce means loved.
And we're Portal from NC State University. We're developing a countertop retail platform that uses computer vision to have what you need where you need it. Find us on Instagram at portaltech.io.
It's called speed dating for semifinalists. Okay, who won? Faith, back to you.
Okay, and with that, the People's Choice voting is officially closed. At long last, our judges have finalized their decisions and sneaked back to their seats. Was it an easy decision?
No.
No, not at all.
Okay, what was the most difficult part?
They're all very good.
They're all great.
Yeah, all right,
really
well, let's find out what happened. I'm gonna ask all of our finalists to join me back on stage. Now is the moment of truth. Finalists, please join me on stage, and judges, will you please join this party as well? All right, ready or not, here we go. I am waiting for these special purple envelopes that are closed with Velcro. Someone must be writing down your decisions at this very moment. Look in their faces. Can you give anything away? No. All right. Did you each have a different first place choice? Okay. All right. I'm going to move on. This is live TV, you guys. I'm going to move on without the envelope because I've just been told that the People's Choice is the University of Virginia. Where are you? Right here. Name of your team? Mist. Team Mist. Congratulations, Team Mist. Now it's time to announce our second place winner, who will receive a check for $10,000. And the second place winner is Mist, University of Virginia, Team Mist. Second place and People's Choice. Congratulations. And now it's time to announce our first choice team, which I'm assuming is this, all right, who will take home a check for $15,000 sponsored by United Technologies Research Center. First place winner is the same as the second place winner. That's really interesting.
Because it was the wrong way round. They were not second.
Oh, because you are the first place winner?
Yeah.
So second place is? Wow, this is crazy. It's like the Oscars 2 years ago. This is so exciting. Wait, this still says University of Virginia. What is happening? I feel like this is rigged. This is fake news. Yeah. Who is the second place winner?
Medics.
Medics, where are you? Team Medics, congratulations. There you go. There's your, all right. Team Mist, get over here very quickly. Whom do you want to thank?
Definitely my younger brother for all the inspiration he's given us to
all right, from him. That's it. The 2019 ACC InVenture Prize has officially come to a close. Congratulations once again, well, to you guys, because you won all three in a weird twist. And also our real second place winner, which was Team Medics, right? Yes. And of course, our 2019 Grand Prize winner, University of Virginia, again. Congratulations to all of tonight's finalists, to our semifinalists, and to all the students across the ACC who took part in this year's competition. Thank you to my co-host, Ashley Mengwasser, to our judges who made the quickest decision, and to Megan Greer and all of the wonderful people at NC State for hosting this year's show. Thank you all for hanging with us. We'll be back next year on Tax Day, April 15th. No audits, I promise. And remember, there may not be an I in team, but every accomplishment has an ACC. Good night. Congratulations, guys. That was crazy.
Funding for this program was made possible in part by the Atlantic Coast Conference Academic Consortium, United Technologies Research Center, Boston College, Clemson University, Duke University, Florida State University, the Georgia Institute of Technology, University of Louisville, North Carolina State University, the University of Notre Dame, the University of Pittsburgh, Syracuse University, the University of Miami, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, the University of Virginia, Virginia Tech, and Wake Forest University.